I saw Moulin Rouge, which is I saw the movie.
Is that the fucking Disney princess?
Eddie Murphy's in
Exactly.
that. Right?
Moulin Rouge.
I'm so confused right now.
I don't know. It's Moulin, bitch.
You don't know
How come
Mulan?
when Bobby does a movie review, everyone's quiet? We're like, oh, what is Bobby? As soon as I start talking, it's like, shmeem and
Yo! Oh my God! Look at that. Clean audio. Feels good to be back.
Hell yeah.
That last episode made me irate in the post-production process, but everyone's yay! You can hear us.
How do you rate
see
it?
us.
How do you rate last episode?
Honestly speaking, I think that was the annoying part. I really liked last week's episode
Yeah, it
in
was
terms
pretty
of like
solid.
the jokes and the segment.
Honestly, last week we almost couldn't stop talking. Like
Yeah.
we had more.
Yeah,
shit.
we had a lot of
You
shit.
had like 3 more stuff in the chamber. Like it was.
It also
like,
doesn't hurt that like Joey missed 3 weeks of episodes, so I know you're like backloaded with shit too. Like
Yeah.
we've been spreading it out, but welcome to the Joystick Show, episode 232.
232.
All 5 of the boys are here. Jose's in my room right now, so that's,
Oh shit.
technically he is with us.
He's with us.
But yeah, it's gonna be a cool one. We're gonna sit around the table. We're gonna talk at each other's faces and at you for about 40 minutes.
Nice.
You can go ahead and like this episode of the Joystick Show. Feel free to subscribe to the channel. Last week I made a bit of a flub and I told you guys to like the channel. Still like the channel. I think I want to start saying that. Like the channel.
Like
You don't have to
everything.
subscribe but you can still like us. Okay, and that's that. Cool. Right off the bat, I just want to talk about something that I've kind of been excited to talk about.
Okay.
I've been waiting for this fucking podcast.
He's been fucking waiting.
This past Monday was St. Patrick's Day.
Yes.
It was also me and my girlfriend's 1-year anniversary, which
Nice.
is pretty cool. We celebrated that.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And how we celebrated it is she took me on a shopping spree to Primark, which is pretty cool. Got some new shirts and stuff. But also, she got us tickets to go see a movie. There's something about March where like there's a shit ton of really good movies out all of a sudden. My parents are actually out watching Black Bag right now, which is the new Steven Soderbergh movie with Michael Fassbender. I really want to see that. I want to see Novocaine. I want to see the new Looney Tunes theatrical release.
I heard it was really good.
But another movie that had been on my wanna watch list was actually the one that Mildred got us tickets for, and that is Bong Joon-ho's newest movie, Mickey 17.
Okay.
Yes, I've been meaning to watch this.
This movie, I'm just gonna start off and say this. It's like weird to say this because it's kind of an inside shit, and I know like the whole point of the podcast is to talk to people who don't know us, right? But if you know me, right, so like you guys, the best way I could describe this movie is if you watched it and you finished it, you'd be like, that's a Bobby movie. You know what I mean? So that was kind of the spiel. That's how I felt about it. But I also I wrote down a couple notes because I didn't want to come into this completely blind. The story's really cool. It's like a new take on science fiction. It's also kind of like this weird cross genre blend where it's like a black comedy with sci-fi elements and body horror elements at the same time. So I won't spoil too much because I actually will encourage everybody to go watch the movie. But the basic synopsis is Robert Pattinson plays a guy named Mickey Barnes who lives in like the far, far future and basically signs up to have this job called an expendable, where they purposefully send him on all these like ridiculous like you will die missions, but they basically like there's this whole sci-fi process where they download and back up his brain and all his memories so that they can reprint his body and then put the memories back. So when we get into the movie, we're watching the life of Mickey 17, and they even go through like a brief rundown of what happened to some of the other past Mickeys too. What happened?
I have there's this, so it's based on a book, right? It's based on a book called like Mickey 7 or something like that. Is it the same Mickey? Like that's what confuses me about it. Like the fact that he's like reincarnated or whatever multiple times. Is the number attached to his name part of that, or is that like totally separate?
Or is it more of like, I guess it's like, is it more of like a 007, 006 situation? Or is it like a whole new...
Because you have to keep in mind, there's only one at a time.
Yeah.
So, and not to spoil too much, but that's also kind of like the spiel of the movie.
Okay,
it's like what would happen if 2 were printed at the same time. And that's Mickey 17, basically. But the number, honestly, it's kind of interesting. It's more important to like the scientists who are assigned to like reprint him and to Mickey himself. but everybody else just calls him Mickey. They're like, hey,
Okay.
Mickey, what's up? Hey, Mickey. But to him, he's like, I'm Mickey 17. You know, like he has this understanding of all the different lives he's lived, basically. Fucking the cinematography is awesome. I don't really have to say much about that. I feel like at this point, you're going to see a movie out in the theaters. It's going to look good, right? First of all, I'm going to say Mark Ruffalo. I'll save that for a second, but Robert Pattinson is phenomenal in this movie.
He's always good.
I was talking to Mildred. He's very quickly becoming one of my favorite actors, like top 10 for sure. And his portrayal of Mickey is like so crazy. His range is insane. To think like the Twilight guy, when he became Batman, first of all, right? And you see brooding Batman, and literally, like, this is my impression of Mickey, Mickey 17. He's like, oh gosh, man, I don't know if we should. He's literally like the most timid, nice guy. He's like, I've never really thought about doing this. And to hear like Robert Pattinson in that American
He's
wimpy
always
voice,
like the he's always
exactly.
that,
So
he's
you
that
get-
guy.
just his voice alone is like, oh my God, is that Robert Pattinson? It's awesome. So give him huge credit for that movie. I loved his performance. It's also just cool to see Bong Joon-ho's themes without his movies. He's done Parasite. He's done Snowpiercer. A lot of his movies kind of like, there are a lot of cross genres, so he's like into that. But he's also kind of into talking about like class systems and society and stuff like that. And that's also very present in this movie, whereas where I'm getting to now, Mark Ruffalo's performance. So this is, I thought, was probably one of the more interesting things in the movie. Mark Ruffalo plays a character in this movie called Kenneth Marshall, who's basically like, he's been the president in the past, but then he like lost his term, and now he like heads this big science/religious church company.
Nice.
And they're basically responsible for like an expedition that the movie's about, where they're gonna try to like bring humans to a new planet and like repopulate it and shit like that. But basically, Mark Ruffalo's portrayal of Kenneth Marshall is Donald Trump. Now, I know a couple of times in the past we've talked about how recent movies and recent shows have like related to it, like Captain America: Brave New World. There's another one that's
Daredevil.
Daredevil. There was another one too, even I forgot what it was, but we've kind of like talked about this. Mark Ruffalo's Kenneth Marshall is Donald fucking Trump. Like, I kid you not, at the beginning of the movie, his followers are wearing like pinkish red hats. They're all like, Kenneth Marshall will win this shit, whatever. He literally talks like this. He's like, we're gonna do it for everybody, for everyone.
He
He's
does
like,
it,
he's
talk with his hands too.
Yeah, he's fucking Donald Trump. It's 1-1, and it's kind of interesting to see. So that being said, I think that's a reason why some people weren't a fan of this movie. But
I didn't even know he was in his movie.
yeah.
You know what's funny? When any portrayal, when they want to make a character that is like alluding to him, his followers all wear a color hat.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm like, you guys are pointing yourself out at that point. Like, oh, we're not a cult. I'm like, there's a specific attire. We just need, whether it's blue, reddish, pinkish. It's like, we know who we're talking about. It's you guys.
Yeah, chum bucket hats, whatever.
Gotta get ready for Conor McGregor's Make Ireland Great Again.
Yeah, the
Nigga. I'll say it.
I was gonna be like, no.
But fucking damn, now I can't wait for somebody to take that soundbite of me and edit it to make it sound like I said digga.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Take that one and then
Go figure.
now you're fucked too.
Damn.
But the last thing
I had
I
to
will
lie.
say about the movie is I kind of hate to say it. I was trying to find a flaw. Like, really, I was genuinely trying to find a flaw. And I think the one thing that I felt weird about it was, and this is kind of like a personal thing, but I felt like the movie had a lot more room to be darker. There is a lot of like dark elements, but they're usually overshadowed by like a comedic undertone. So really quickly after something happens, it's usually like, oh shit, you know, like you just kind of like laugh it off. But like there were even parts of the movie where like I was fully expecting this shit to end horribly. So when it ended up like pretty decent, I was like, I almost expected Bong Joon-ho to take it into a more crazy direction like he usually does. So when it didn't happen, I was kind of thrown off guard. But at the same time, I acknowledge that that's more of like a personal thing. And that being said, it doesn't hurt the story any more so than it did just having the movie be what it is. And all that to say, I'm going to give it a fat 10 out of 10. It's
Oh,
a masterpiece
shit.
in my book.
I gotta see it soon.
One of those movies I watch and it just makes me want to go fucking make something. So shout out to Mickey 17. You should all go check it out. It's really,
Yeah,
really good.
definitely.
I've
When
heard a
I
lot of good stuff from my coworkers. Like, they were basically saying the same thing. Like, just go watch it. They weren't even trying to say too much.
My favorite thing about the movie is just honestly like the premise. I think it's just really cool. Like, we've seen so many takes on like reincarnation and like death and coming back and stuff, but just to see like a scientific, I don't even think scientific is just like a mundane process of it, where it's like everybody else who's not this guy is just hanging around the body printing machine, like shooting the shit while his body just falls out of the machine. You know what I mean? Like to them, it's just this mundane thing, but to him, it's this whole like existential crisis. Yeah, but great fucking movie. I do want to watch it again. So
Cool.
shout outs. That's my review.
I liked the trailer and I wanted to watch it too after the trailer. Did you see anything, Dylan?
I did.
What
I
the
saw the
fuck?
season finale of Severance.
Let's go.
That was like a twist in the podcast. We were just expecting it to go to the
Yeah,
other
I feel like
guy.
I can't say anything either because I know Bobby hasn't watched it yet. And
Yeah,
it's a
but
great
start.
show, and you need to watch it.
What is this show?
Severance.
Severance. What is it?
Yeah, it's the. I'm sure we mentioned it before. It's the show where some people people that work for a certain company that's called Lumen, they can get like a separation in their brain to have their work life and their personal life be totally separate. They have totally different memories. They're like different people.
That's
You haven't seen the
Like
memes about this?
when they're at home,
No.
they don't
This is
remember
like
what
the
happened.
number one
Yeah.
meme. It's like any Howdy and that shit. Like, have you not seen those memes?
No.
Damn.
It's also like one of the most talked about shows right
Yeah,
now.
it's like you're sharing a
wow.
body with your work.
I believe it was created by Ben Stiller.
I've seen memes about like your coworker friends or your coworker memes. Like a lot of
That's-
coworker memes, but
That's where it's from.
oh, okay.
They're almost all of it is.
Yeah.
I thought it
it's
was
like
just because no one really like fucks with your coworker.
It's like one of those shows that's really rooted in mystery, and I think
Yeah.
that's why people like it so much.
right.
But that being said, like Jerry told me that he finished it earlier, and Mildred this morning was like, "Oh, the new episode of Severance! I have to go watch it." So I remember like I was still finishing my sleep in the morning when she finished it, and she came back. She was like, "Yo, people are gonna be pissed."
Yeah, literally, people are gonna be pissed. That's exactly how it ended. I don't want to say anything else, but like I don't know.
I gotta watch this now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels like the whole story built up to this moment, this episode.
Oh,
Interesting. So wait, let me ask you this: despite like any personal bias to like whatever they did, do you think it's good for the show going forward?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
It's probably the best option for the show going
So yeah,
forward.
then
No one's
they
pissed.
jumped the shark. No, that's not.
no, it's not jumping
for
the
it.
shark, but yeah.
They took a risk.
Yeah. You know, they're stringing it along for a little longer. You know, that kind of feeling.
Cool.
But you know,
Nice.
Dope.
Where can I watch this?
Apple TV.
I'm not watching it.
You get 3
That's
episodes.
like
I
the
can't.
easiest one to get out of all of them.
Really? Like I don't have any Apple devices or anything
Yeah.
Apple
You
in
don't
my
need
house.
an Apple device for
Just-
it. You just get it on like.
Yeah, it's like Hulu
It's
or
like it's a
Netflix
streaming
or whatever.
service. That's all it is.
Yeah, just get it on your TV or
I think you
Fire
do
Stick or
need
something.
probably like an Apple account.
You need the
like
cloud.
And I don't
You need
have
the
that,
cloud email.
so.
But you don't have to pay for that. It's
Did you
just-
you never had an iPod Touch?
Never any iPhone,
no
iPad,
Apple
nothing.
products?
None.
Have you eaten an apple?
I recently.
Okay, nice. Okay, good. We're not that far from humanity. I'm so glad Jerry took what I was gonna say because I did see something that I don't. I
gotta replace that shit too.
This is gonna fall.
Our podcast is falling apart, honestly. Like we barely
we're doing
record
great,
audio.
guys.
That sign is broken.
The sign looks great. This is.
I think
Probably the best the sign has looked in a while.
Once it lights up, you
honestly.
can't see how shitty and dirty it is. Like,
we're
it's
definitely gonna
great.
talk about finances when we turn off the camera to talk about like how.
All right, how we split? How we doing?
Yeah, but
Some
it's
Amazon orders coming in.
Yep,
we got some stuff
but
coming.
You did some shit, right?
Yeah, so a lot of my fiance's relatives weren't from Greece. Even more are coming in next week. So I was like, oh, perfect.
Wait,
so
for what?
just they're in New York.
Just hanging out.
Yeah.
Greece.
This one of her cousins, their husband, he is literally an astrophysicist.
Wow.
So he went to the Flatiron Building and literally talked to like someone who worked on like the I forget what it was, but it was like someone who knew somebody who worked on the atomic bomb, and they were like really fucking old, and like he had like a whole lecture. I'm like, that's the coolest thing. Why did we do that? You know?
Talking
But-
to fucking Oppenheimer.
Yeah, literally, he's like he knew the guy or whatever. I'm like, that's crazy.
that shit was wild.
Like he knew Oppenheimer. But anyways,
Out in Manhattan talking about the Manhattan Project. Just look at that shit.
you know what up? I saw Moulin Rouge, which is I saw the movie.
Is that the fucking Disney princess?
Eddie Murphy's in
Exactly.
that. Right?
Moulin Rouge.
I'm so confused right now.
I don't know.
Achoo.
It's Mulan, bitch.
You don't know
How come when Bobby does a movie review, everyone's quiet? We're like, oh, what is Bobby? As soon as I start talking, it's like, Shmeem and No, No, but honestly, like, I really have no notes about this fucking play or musical.
Yeah,
I
you
guess
just gotta
it
have
is.
your phone out so we listen.
Yeah. Fuck no. So it's like basically Moulin Rouge is like this place that's like half theatrical place, half whorehouse, essentially, in Britain. And the movie basically has basically to save the theater, the main character, female, she has to basically sleep with like royalty. And so she basically thinks she's seducing this nobody, thinking he is like doing the play or whatever. Turns out she seduced him by mistake, and they have to put on a fake performance. It's a pretty good show, but my big gripe with it and the main thing, in fact, I liked it because it's like you flashing lights and dancing. It's like overstimulation. I love that shit. But I saw my fiance have like the ick face a couple of times. Like they started doing what song is it? By Walk the Moon, Shut Up and Dance With Me, whatever.
Ew.
Yeah, so they did that, but like British, and I'm like,
So don't you dare look back.
it sounded like the clip of
Keep your eyes on me.
it literally sounded like Jared McCain. I don't know if you've seen that TikTok, Jared McCain.
I hate that TikTok, bro.
Jared-
Is it We Are Young?
He fucking no. It's the basketball player. He swears he can sing and he can't fucking sing.
But he has
took
like,
my arm.
he has like this vibrato
Yeah.
in the back of his voice. He's like, I don't know how it
It's
happened.
like you can tell when somebody doesn't know how to sing because they think adding vibrato to
Yes.
something makes it sound good.
Oh my gosh,
He took
yes.
my arm. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
no,
so,
it's not.
Yeah.
bro.
So that was the funniest part. But yeah, the entire show is that. But then as it went along, like the cover songs got better. Like it went from I'm watching a cover band to like, oh, I'm watching a fucking theater Broadway show, right? So at one point they did a crossover with Rolling in the Deep and Crazy by CeeLo Green. Which turns out is the same song, guys. I don't know if you go back and listen to those songs.
Yeah.
They are literally the same.
Whoa.
Wait, Rolling in the Deep and what?
And Crazy by Gnarls Barkley. They have like the same beat.
Wow, yeah, it's the
And
same bass.
So they literally were going verse, chorus, switching between the two, and I'm like, this is the same. Like it kind of was like a big.
And they just drop Feel Good.
Yeah. No, but I mean, I would give this like 8 out of 10 maybe as like a theater performance. But again, I don't know musicals and theater lore like that. All I could say is I had a good time. I like looking at the people and the stuff and the dancing.
Yeah, cool.
There was like the fact that it's like everyone in this show is like a lot of theater people are gay. Let's be real. Let's cut to the chase, right?
Yeah.
But it's like a lot of the characters in the show are gay, so it felt right.
Okay.
It felt
They're playing themselves.
Yeah, exactly. And then it's like I feel like there's like sexual scenes, like sex scenes, right? And then I was like that guy, I could believe that guy might be straight. That's good acting. You know what I mean? Like that guy roughed her around. I'm like, hey,
Maybe he's a little bi-curious.
yeah. Honestly, I think the lead and the villain. Yeah, but pretty good performance.
Fire.
I would if I had to take, if it's like Dylan, would you rather watch that show again or eat at the Thai place I ate before? Again, I would eat at the Thai place and not see the show.
So the Thai place was at least an 8.5 out of 10.
The Thai place also had a fun cocktail with like a bunch of shit on it, and that was just as exciting.
Was the Thai place also a whorehouse?
It might have been. I don't think so. But I had
With enough
some,
money, anything could be.
I had some sake there too.
Dylan didn't go upstairs. He didn't
get
They did have an upstairs. They all make sense now.
It's all coming together.
It's so I don't know why this just jumped back. I was thinking about it earlier in the week. It's kind of on topic, but a little random. But do you remember? I think it was at your house. I think you, me, and maybe Jose were hanging out one day, and we found out that and we were young. We were like 17 or 18. Shut up. We found out that there was a legal brothel in Vegas. So we were like, get out. And we were like Googling it. And we found like the Yelp reviews for this brothel. And like all of them were like fairly normal. But then after like 4 or 5, we started to see like a theme where like the first one was like, great place. Everybody's really personable. Good time. Fuck Cindy. And you're like, what? And then the second comment is like, listen, this would be a 10 out of 10 experience if Cindy did not work there. And like me, Jose and Jerry are like, who the fuck is Cindy? And why is she ruining everybody's experiences?
That's wild,
bro.
But that actually is interesting because I wonder if those reviews are real.
I doubt it.
Because Google Maps is literally just fake reviews.
Yeah.
Unless it's a restaurant or an actual place of business, it is 100% a fake fucking review.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
Because
word.
if it's not a business, why would you even review it? I'm not going to review my house. I'm not going to, let me leave a review.
No,
This
yeah.
was a nice park.
Damn, I could review your house. That's
You
kinda
could
cool.
review, bro. It's a building.
I'm reviewing his
It's a
house
building.
right
It's
now.
not a house.
Better
it's a
review
building.
this shit out of all your houses.
You
bro.
can literally review any building in New York City, and any building in the country.
Oh,
You
this
can
is
literally
gonna be
just leave
fun.
a review.
Better review my high school.
And I know this because there's been references of this where it's like, for example, Nathan For You, I think it was. There's like or maybe it wasn't Nathan For You, but it was this other show on
The
HBO.
Rehearsal?
Yeah, where it's like there was like the Alligator Lounge in Williamsburg, and like they did all this stuff to like revitalize the lounge or whatever. And every comment is about the fucking show. None of it is about the bar.
It's like inside jokes and shit
The
like
food,
that.
yeah, it's all inside jokes. Like Your Mom's House podcast and other podcasts have a ton
Town,
about
yeah.
that. You look up the town of shit in Iran.
Yeah.
Read
Right.
the reviews of shit. See what they say.
Also,
None of them are in Arabic or anything. Or
two episodes in a row that we shout out shit. So there you go.
I would
We're
also,
gonna visit one day.
We're gonna go for 3 next week.
Found out there's also a rural village named Sheet. It's a little
Sheet,
different.
Look at that.
And, yeah.
Where's that? And also in Iran.
It's also in Iran,
Look
of
at
course.
that.
Oh, wow.
Where else it would be?
That.
I'm sure there's a video you can find.
It's like 3 miles away
Yeah.
from peace. Peace and sheet.
We're gonna make a GoFundMe. So let's send the boys to shit Iran. Let's go.
It looks beautiful, bro. I'll put photos. Did you put photos last week?
No, I didn't.
Put a photo
You didn't
this
tell
week.
me to. huh?
Here we are.
You got to be
Oh.
direct with that shit, all right?
We don't have to be there, but the flowers and shit have to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad you saw that theater performance and enjoyed it because I also saw theater, but it was in GTA.
Oh,
I saw
I know where
it.
this is
I
going.
heard about this.
So I heard about this in November when I have the Regal app, and I like to go on the limited events because sometimes I see like, oh, an anniversary for a movie I saw like when I was young. But there was one that said Grand Theft Hamlet. And turns out these guys performed the entirety of Hamlet in GTA. And what they were showing in theaters was the documentary of that happening. So there was only one showing only, and it was sold out. And I felt like I missed out because I was like, damn, these like people that at least enjoy Hamlet or theater and GTA, I would have enjoyed that experience to see who like are like-minded people.
Real quick, which one is Hamlet? That's Lion King?
Yes.
Got you. I get it mixed up with Macbeth.
So the documentary, it takes place in 2021 where these two British guys, they were just streaming GTA. They're in their like, I'm going to say in their 30, 40s. Like they were grown men and they worked in the theater district. And since it was 2021, the UK just had its third lockdown and they were just playing Grand Theft Auto. They were bored and they saw that there's a theater in Vinewood.
Yeah, the outdoor
And
theater.
they were like, bro, like, wouldn't it be fun if we just perform a play here? And they said, bro, just get on stage and start doing it. And they were like doing a few clips as much as they could, just jokingly. And then they were saying, what if we actually do that? Like, what if we actually, like, we're not working in the industry right now. What if we just gather some of our friends and maybe even people here online? So there's a part where they're trying to recruit other online players. And they're like, hey, do you want to perform in our play Hamlet? We're going to be performing at the Vinewood Bowl, this and that. And you see people like someone just like straight up shooting them. And they managed to get one guy that's like I don't know what you're doing. I'll try. And he speaks like a little bit of broken English. And he was like from like Finland or something. But they were like, you could be our bodyguard. And he was like a hacker, so he's like an alien. And he's like, oh, yeah, man, we'll do it. I'll do it for you. They then put their auditions on, like, the UK's backstage, like, to like, get actors to come.
Yeah.
And they got, like, at least 2 to come. And there was a woman that was like, hi, I'm using my nephew's Xbox to sign up for GTA's Hamlet. she goes and performs a monologue on the stage, and they're like, "This is great, yeah, thank you so much."
Yeah, that's great, bro.
Oh my god.
The next day when they invite her, it's her nephew, and she's like, "Oh, is your aunt gonna like?" He's like, "Oh, my aunt moved back. She lives in her house." And he was like, "Oh, would you be kind enough to give your Xbox to your aunt so she can rehearse with us?" And he was like, "That's not happening. That's not happening." They get the cast, and I told you guys on the PlayStation, there's like fake drama of like people like, "Oh, I don't know when the deadline, we have to do this." And as they're doing that, they're doing emotes, and that's when I was like, okay, they're trying to like spice it up, sprinkle in a little drama for this documentary, but for the rehearsals and the online players like interrupting the rehearsals is all real.
Yeah, of course.
So, and I think that was the most fun part of watching it. It was just like, how far are these guys going? The director asked his wife to make an account on another PlayStation so she can go into first person mode and film the documentary on a better perspective, so it's not just third person on his screen. And there's a part in the documentary where he takes up the role of Hamlet because the guy that they casted as Hamlet got an actual theater job and had to quit. Yeah. So he's just like, fuck. Like,
fuck,
no,
we
I
needed Hamlet, bro.
We need a Hamlet.
For Hamlet.
So he got auditions for it, and then there's like a whole Oppenheimer moment where like the music's building up, the pianos and the violins are building up, and he talks about how the beauty of Hamlet is that there's so much beauty in the words and how it's articulated, and it could be seen in Grand Theft Auto. The beauty of the world, the beauty of the things, but the grotesque violence also correlates with Hamlet's story. And as he's saying like this very poetic and beautiful monologue, he has clips of just like people stabbing each other. There's NPCs getting run over by cars. They make it like really dramatic, and like the juxtaposition was just really funny.
I could just fucking imagine like these fucking Grand Theft Auto characters doing Hamlet quotes, but like with the emotes, like "to be or not to be."
They did a pretty like
That
they were
is the
talking about the
question.
beheadings, and they did the cutthroat beat. Like they were doing a pretty good job to the point that like if you
oh my god, yeah,
For it is nobler in the mind.
to the point that like if you play GTA, you're like, damn, they're really not only memorizing monologues but like going crazy on the remote to like switch to the correct emotes. It's not as easy as Fortnite. You legit have to like go into a menu, quickly switch and do shit. I mean,
it's just crazy because it's literally because I need to watch this for sure because it's like the documentary style of it. Yeah. I think is what I really like. Yeah. Like the fake drama. I'm like, that's fucking great. That's
how do we
I
do
love
this?
fake drama. Like that's amazing.
Their bodyguard comes and he's like flying a plane and they're riding the plane with him and he's like, "We're Shakespeare, killer Shakespeare, huh?" And they're like, "Well, Shakespeare's kind of very violent. A lot of his plays are, his plays are, and it's they're all British, so they have a very like that like dull like Fry voice when they talk. They're like, yeah, it's already kind of like Shakespeare's kind of like that. Then they had he's talking to the camera. He says, "I want to give a shout outs to the people we met along the way," and he starts throwing gamer tags. He says, sometimes they just show up. Like we're in the middle of rehearsal and like a guy will pop up and be like, "What are you guys doing?" And they'll just stick around, and we always are on guard, and we have our bodyguard here, Peb, and he's dressed as an alien. he's here because
alien, bro. I
love it. He's like just in case someone wants to attack us.
You can't make that up. You just find a Finnish alien. You're like, "Yo, but you want to be in this thing?" And he's like, "Yeah."
And he says, but most of the time when they hear and they see us as a group rehearsing on stage, they are like they want to help us. He shouts out this one guy. He says, he had like all the vehicles we needed for Hamlet. He kind of like became our stage manager for this production. The play ends with them doing the entirety of Hamlet through Twitch. They don't show the entirety of Hamlet because it's a very long play. It's a 3-act play. But they show the snippets of all the scenes and them doing it. And I thought it was so funny because there are ghosts in Hamlet. They turn on passive mode, so they're translucent. Wow. So they're like, "You there?" And I was like, "Oh my god!" They really like from costume changes to doing that translucent thing in passive mode. Like I think they did a pretty good job.
That's amazing.
It was a project started in 2021. They had it aired in a theater in like a theater in 2023, and then it was in a theater in New York in 2024.
Cool. I was gonna say it's like this weird cross section of like machinima and documentary style filmmaking.
It felt like that, yeah. Like I was like, at first I was like, "Oh, this is new and innovative," but then I was like, "No, there've been people that done something
it's
like this to this
red
extent.
versus blue.
Yeah, but nobody's ever
mixed with,
taken the cinema and made it like real. You know what I mean?
I mean that's it. Yeah, it's really good. I mean, no, it's incredible because not only if it's meta, but then it's like also like South Park 7 Days to Air. Like it's like that kind of vibe where it's like a documentary, but it's not a retrospective. It's like no, we're making it right now.
Yeah.
It's
And stay tuned for Team Joystick's Death of a Salesman in Fortnite. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be fantastic.
I wanna do Macbeth in GTA 6.
No, do it on your own. That's what we're doing. We're doing Death of a Salesman in Fortnite.
Guys, we could do Waiting for Godot in any fucking game ever.
We could do Waiting.
It's like a bench and 2 people. We got it, bro.
We got it. That's
we got it unlocked.
Waiting for Godot in Hogwarts Legacy. It's gonna be a vibe.
Waiting for Godot in Minecraft.
Speaking of South Park, your boy played a video game.
Yeah.
Added another platinum to the list.
You like that secret segue.
It's becoming a weekly occurrence at this point. I played a sequel to a South Park game that I platinumed pretty fast in high school when I was friends with Dylan.
We've talked about this on the podcast before where I lent it to you and you beat it in 2 days.
Dylan lent it to me on Tuesday, gave it back on Thursday. But and that was Stick of Truth. But the one that I just platinumed was Fractured But Whole. South Park RPG that kind of takes the style of the South Park superhero series or rather season. I don't know what I was expecting going into this game. I played Stick of Truth. I enjoyed it a lot. Last time I played it was in high school, which was fucking an eternity ago. So I didn't know what to expect. And to be fair, I don't know why I didn't play the sequel either. It's kind of like one of those games I just didn't pick up. And I was like, I'll get to it someday. Way better than Stick of Truth. Like gameplay-wise, story-wise, it's like, holy shit. Like I should have played this way sooner. I remember the first time I picked it up, I immediately thought of Jerry because it's kind of like that tactical turn-based strategy where there's like a movement grid and it feels like Battle Network, which is like pretty interesting considering it's South Park characters that are fucking each other up. But I think what I found really enjoyable about the game was legitimately how difficult it was. Like it was a good challenge. I don't remember the last time I'd played a game and I felt a good challenge to the point where like I got into a boss fight and I was like, I'll get to this tomorrow. Like I can't get through this right now. But yeah, it's a ton of fun. It also just kind of like started getting me into watching South Park as a show. We were talking about it in the chat earlier in the week. I feel like I've never actually sat down and watched South Park through. Like I have, The Simpsons and Family Guy, but I have watched a lot of classic South Park episodes. So I feel like whenever like the important ones get brought up, I'm like, oh shit, I've seen that one. So like Fish Sticks and fucking the World of Warcraft one and Mr. Hanky and Towley. Like I've seen all of the quote unquote important episodes, right?
Yeah, the viral.
But now it's interesting to go back and like watch it through the whole way, And it's also interesting that you brought up 7 Days to Air because I was watching that too. But the game is really fucking fun. I would definitely recommend it to anybody. Like if you're looking for a fun, decent challenge, it's good. The platinum itself isn't bad either because it's pretty much just beat the game on the hardest difficulty and then a couple cleanup stuff. So it's a pretty attainable platinum as well. But it's really fun. Also, shout outs to some of the harder bosses. I was gonna bring up one, but
shout out Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, he's the super boss in that game. He was hard as hell. Like I gave it.
I mean, you are playing on the hardest difficulty.
Well, the thing is that's post game. So I actually put my difficulty down to casual, and I still could have beat that fucking guy. I kept getting because the thing is he has like 9,999 health, so like almost 10,000. And when you get him down to like 3,500, he gets like a new phase where he attacks twice in a row, and you can like barely dodge it. So after that, I was like, "Fuck this!" I'm looking up a guide, and I found a way where you can even beat him without taking damage, and I was like, "Perfect!" And I just got it done really quickly. But the actual story mode bosses are fucking hard. Like, there's one that I was stuck on for a while, and unfortunately, or fortunately, I can't say the name because it's there is a slur. But if you've watched the South Park series, there is a Cthulhu-esque monster that feeds on the bodies of black people. And he's a special boss in that you don't actually do damage to him. You have to trick him into eating white people. And what I found is really interesting about that is if he eats like the bad white people, like the people you're playing against, he takes like 2,500 damage or something like that. But if he eats like one of the kids, like Cartman or Kyle, it'll do like 1,500 damage, but like my character is black, and if I get eaten, it gives him health, like it heals him. So it's like you can only feed him white people. But it's a really fucking fun game. And that's also pretty funny. The hardest trophy in the game is actually to beat the game on the hardest difficulty, but there's kind of two twists to that in that the game has 2 difficulty settings. There's a combat difficulty setting, which is Mastermind, and that's like, all the fights are harder.
And then there's this.
And then there's the skin tone.
The skin color, yeah.
So depending on what skin tone your character is, the darker, the harder the game is. So you have to play it on the darkest skin tone, and then that determines like how people treat you, how much money you get. Yeah, so it's obviously racist as shit, but it makes the game that much harder.
I mean, if you really think about it, it is like it's very aware. It's very.
It's the most Trey Parker.
Right. I mean, it's very like, hey, look, it's like literally a comment on that. You know? It's not just like a.
When the game came out, I picked it up when the game came out, and a lot of streamers and people were openly saying like it's not really racist, it's like literally a commentary of like life.
They did it the right way.
But that's why the South Park guys are highly regarded. They don't just do shit for the sake to shock people. I mean, to be fair, when they first started, that was the important part.
They get a bad rap as being shock comedians when they're really not at all.
Exactly. Right. I was also going to say, part of the reason I'm watching the series now is I was talking to Mildred about it, because at first she didn't really get it. And I was like, look, I'm not super into the show that much myself, but I find it interesting that, I didn't really like it as a kid, but now as an adult, I find it funnier, which is like the opposite of like a bunch of other adult animated shows that I watched. Like when I watched Family Guy as a kid, it was great. When I watched Simpsons, it was great. But when I watched South Park, I was like, it's not for me, Now it's hilarious. It makes me laugh every single episode. The other thing I think is interesting is the fact that these motherfuckers have awards on awards on awards on awards. So they're obviously doing something right, especially considering they're like probably going to go for an Oscar with a new movie with Kendrick Lamar next year or this year. So point is, there's something to be learned by watching Trey Parker and Matt Stone's productions, is specifically to see how like the stories are written. And I've even seen seminars that they've done in NYU and stuff where they talk about how to write good stories. I think one of my favorite ones is, it's kind of interesting to see them like teach a seminar, because they're obviously not teachers. They're just like normal guys. So they're like, look, if you're writing a story and it's like this happens and then this happens and then this happens.
I've seen this clip.
It's a bullshit fucking story. Nobody wants to see that. Your story should be this happens, but then this happens.
And because of
therefore this happens because this happened. Like everything should be a chain, like this happened, so there's consequences. And you go back and you watch episodes of South Park and you're like, holy shit, it's actually happening. So point is, the game is cool, the series is cool. I'm weirdly getting enveloped in a bunch of South Park culture at the ripe old age of 28, but I'm hoping that I can finish it soon and then have a good little retrospective here of what I thought about it. And the last thing I'll note is I've actually never watched the first ever episode of South Park. I don't know if you guys have.
Isn't it a Christmas special?
No, it's an episode where aliens come and they give Carmen an anal probe.
I remember that one. Yes.
But what I found really interesting about this episode in particular is it looks, obviously watching 7 Days to Air, you learn about the process that went into making it, but it's the only episode of South Park that wasn't made with full-on computer generation. So it's made literally like stop motion with with paper cutouts. So there's actually 2 frames in that episode where you can actually see one of their hands. There's one where like Chef is singing to the boys, and if you pause it, you'll see like a left hand putting a piece of paper onto the frame. And there's another one later in the episode where it's on the right side of the frame. But it's funny because like as an editor, you see that really quick, and me and Mildred are automatically playing this game like, what the fuck is that? What the fuck is that? And she was the one who was like, I think it's a hand. And when I got it, it's like, yeah, it's a fucking hand. It's just weird to see it because it's a cartoon, and then all of a sudden it's like, wait, it's being made, But it was really cool.
They should have added Easter egg where it's just a middle finger.
Yeah, right. Honestly speaking, that's what I thought it was. I thought it was like a weird, like quick frame Easter egg, like something that they put in as a joke. But I wasn't expecting it to be a mistake. But still, it's real.
That's cool.
I think it's awesome. Yeah. It shows. Not only does it show like the authenticity that went into making it in the first place, but it also shows you how fucking far they've come. Right?
Oh yeah, word.
So shout out to South Park. Great game. I'm gonna give the game an 8.5 out of 10.
Wait, I have one question before we go too far. You said there's a trophy for hard mode.
Yes.
And you said there's 2 hard modes.
Yes.
Which one is the trophy?
You have to do both.
Oh, at the same time.
You have to beat the game on Mastermind with the darkest skin color.
I see.
I think it's called the Token Experience. That's the name of the trophy.
Yo, fun fact about that, after that alien episode, in all of season 1 and 2, there's a secret alien in the background of every South Park episode.
See, now I have to look out for that. Thank you.
I don't think they continue it in 3 to 4, but
Oh, that was another funny thing watching it with Mildred. Like this, the first episode, Kenny dies. She's like, Kenny's dead. And I was like, strap the fuck in.
Oh my god! Did she not know about?
She doesn't know anything about South Park. I was like,
oh my god!
It's kind of a running joke. Happens like every episode in the first couple seasons.
I used to have a Kenny plush that I won at a claw machine at a carnival, and I used to like, yeah.
It's just funny as a kid. Like my parents were very strict about certain things, and South Park was one of those things. They were like, "You're never watching this," and I was like, "Okay,
Really?
yeah." It was South Park. It was GTA. Like those were like the two things. My dad would let me play like any other violent video game on the market.
Any other shooting.
And to be fair, understood now that I'm an adult.
What if
you know?
your dad was like low key like a super fucking South Park head, and he's like, "Nah, this show's too based."
Can't let him know.
My aunt one time put on South Park when I was like 1 year old, thinking it was for children. And when my parents came and picked him up, she was like, "Hey, that show with the kids and the big heads, don't put that on for Joey. Like that's a bad show." And my parents were like, "Yeah, we know. You put that on for him."
Oh shit.
Yeah, that shit is based.
Based.
All right, let's talk about some music that could be bass, that could not be bass, perhaps. Bass. Knowledge.
Drop the bass.
Space.
I've been having I didn't listen to any.
I have a lot of fucking music to pick. Hold on, I'm going through.
I can't tell if I do or I don't.
I'm
honestly.
going through the
I got
roots.
you one, but it's not a new band. It's an old one, but it's good.
It'd be like that sometimes.
Yeah.
Be like that.
So I remember where I got it from. It was in the background of a scene on the Lil Dicky show in season 1.
Nice.
And I was like, "Oh, this is a banger," and it was. It's "So What" by Baby Keem.
I've heard
Yeah.
it's a good song.
Right. I'm gonna go ahead and pick a song that I heard in my Discover Weekly, and as soon as I heard it, I was like, "Wait, this is weird," because the song starts with a sample that is an Ichika Nito, like a famous acoustic riff, like from one of his famous YouTube things, like when a. So I was like, for a second, I was like, "Isn't this just Ichika Nito?" But then, like after the sample, it's like this weird DJ cut, and it turns into like an amalgamation of that with another sample that's familiar to me, but I'm still trying to figure out what it is. I'll play it for you later.
Okay,
because it's from like a famous like 90s or even 2000s house song, but I don't know what it is.
Okay, I'll hear it.
It's a jam. So shout outs to, hold on, it's a long name, so I actually have to pull it up. Running Through the Garden Without a Care in the World by Remara. So shout outs.
Sounds familiar.
It's a jam.
Yeah. I'll go, I guess. I wanted to I found out basically more info about basically an artist by the name of Oso. I know you've probably seen him.
Oso.
He was in Rockaway up until a couple of weeks ago, like living in Rockaway.
What?
Yeah, which I thought was crazy because he's from like Atlantic Beach, Long Beach, like right over there.
Oh shit.
But and I didn't know that, so I was gonna pick one of his songs, but then I saw that A Day to Remember His album came out, and they have a song called LeBron. And it's not bad.
I gotta listen to it.
They're new.
That's fire.
It's weird because it's like they're very much like pop punk, like power pop, like Weezer. Think of like a heavy Weezer song.
Gotcha.
Like that's what they kind of sound like now. But it's like they're from like Florida, so I'm like, yeah, like, they're allowed to shout out LeBron like that.
Yeah.
LeBron.
Yeah.
LeBron.
My slam, I haven't really been listening to any music, but I started the theater club at my job, and I don't like silence when people enter a room. I don't know, the silence kind of makes me feel
That's what the
antsy.
Hornada did to you, you know?
Yeah, there's always music.
There's got to be a theme playing in the background. You
Yeah,
think you're at
so-
Universal Studios or some shit.
Yo, you gotta add the line, bro. You gotta add the fucking.
So I just typed in lo-fi covers of popular songs, and one that came up to the was "Feel Good." So I'm not gonna pick the lo-fi version of that. I'm just gonna pick the regular version of "Feel Good" by the Gorillaz.
Nice.
It's a good song.
Yeah, not a real company, by the way. Feel Good Incorporated. You'd think it'd be, but no. It's just a song title. They lied to us.
like flat snacks.
What's that guy's name? Damon Albarn?
Oh, from the Gorillaz guy.
Yeah.
Not De La Soul.
No. Not De La Soul.
Nah, he's in the Powerpuff Girls.
Watch BS.
What? Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. It was a weird time. Yeah, I forgot about it. When they put Ace from the Green Gang as a replacement band member in the Gorillaz. What the fuck? Is Irwin going to be the lead singer next?
We got
He had
Blue
the
from
vibes
Foster's
right.
Home.
Bro,
just in
once they
Weezer
did that,
now
that's how you knew they weren't real, bro. They fucking replaced one of their drummers
with a fictional cartoon character.
Yeah, that's how you
Had
knew
the
they weren't
fit,
real.
bro.
Bro, the Gorillaz lore is actually kind of cool. I remember I was into it for a bit. I'm sure Jose actually knows some of it too. It's one of
The
his favorite
Bath.
groups. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching this episode of the Joystick Show, episode 232. If you guys want to go ahead and support L Boys, you can go ahead and subscribe to the channel and like this episode to keep us healthy, happy, and satiated.
It feeds us.
We're going to be back next week with episode 233.
Cool.
Might be all four of us, might be three of us, might be one of us. We've never done that before. It might just be me in the middle there, like a little Theo Von type thing.
Some dramatic lighting.
You should do a podcast that's just you and you just switch back and forth between your...
No, I'm going to do one of those where I'm like, I have the phone and I just take calls, but it's going to be you three. It's just like calling, doing accents. Like, how do I get my computer?
I got an idea. You and Jose... but it's audio only, and Jose's doing voices.
No, we had an idea for that. Yeah,
Jose's like RFK Jr. You know?
Jose and I had an idea. We were gonna do it like phase 3, where we were gonna do an audio only podcast that would go on with the Joystick Show, like 20 minutes once a month, and it was gonna be called Nightly Nonsense, and it was just gonna be me and Jose doing what we do best, just you know, riffing and trying to keep it straight. In fact, I like the idea of us starting the podcast and it goes on as long as it does until we eventually break and laugh.
That shit needs like a smart board. You guys are complex.
No, yeah, honestly. I explained the whole fat bitch thing to a friend at a bar recently, and I was like, listen, I'm about to take you on a whirlwind right now, but by the end of it, you're going to be like, holy shit. And sure enough, by the end of it, he was like, holy shit. I was like, yeah, it's an actual unit
just
of measurement.
Expanded his mind.
I did.
He's going to tell another person how
I introduced him to the Joystick lexicon, but
yep.
If you don't know what we're talking about, when we get Jose on for the first episode, we promise to bring everybody
I feel
up
like
to
that
speed.
is a good,
Yeah, just don't worry about it.
That's a good introduction.
On the fat bitches.
Just don't worry about it.
But shout outs to you, shout outs to me, shout outs to 2, shout outs to 3, and bye.